James Comey confirmed a lot of what I said, and some of the things that he said just weren't true.
This is not about Russia or national security or hacking our election. It's all a lie.
Who would like to ask? Should I take one of the killer networks that treat me so badly as fake news?
Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of those events?
100%.
It opened the door and really exposed the problems in the deep state and how you have now the agencies and resources of the United States government being used to hurt the president.
This question about whether there are tapes hangs over all of this. Again, impossible to get that answer.
When will you tell us about the recording?
Over a fairly short period of time.
Are there tapes, sir?
Oh, you're going to be very disappointed when you hear the answer. Don't worry.
I'm really glad Donald Trump threatened James Comey with those conversations being taped, because what he had to say changed quite dramatically.
The question that these Republicans should be asking and demand of Jim Comey under oath is, how many times did you leak information?
No collusion, no obstruction. He's a leaker, but we want to get back to running our great country.
You're a paper airplane.
Oh,
there we go. Why not? It's really got two levels.
Yes. Fancy digs. I know what I'm doing during commercial breaks from now on. Paper airplanes off this top level.
So formally, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Did you take the elevator up?
What a vast expanse. Sandra, is this your Park Avenue condo? What is it?
Yes, sir. Thank you. What do you think of the new digs?
I think they are high-tech, easy to get lost in, very impressive. And, you know, you just think about, oh, my God, look where we are.
And, Geraldo, I'm
center
sad
of the big city.
Because the new set has you on that side of the couch and not next to me.
I know, Major. It's,
very bummed.
Well, let's complain.
I'm excited. What about chopped liver here? I'm excited to sit next to you.
I appreciate that, Clayton.
All right, so let's talk about Donald Trump this week. He didn't make any headlines. There was no news to talk about.
Nothing.
There was a big press conference Friday afternoon. Most people probably picked up their kids from school yesterday afternoon. Well, the president went right after James Comey, following his testimony this week in front of Congress. Let's listen to what President Trump had to say. I want to get your take on it.
No collusion, no obstruction. He's a leaker. Yesterday showed no collusion, no obstruction. We are doing really well. That was an excuse by the Democrats. Frankly, James Comey confirmed a lot of what I said, and some of the things that he said just weren't true. Who would like to ask? Should I take one of the killer networks that treat me so badly as fake news?
And did he ask for a pledge of loyalty from you? That's another thing he said.
No, he did not.
So he said those things under oath. Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of those events?
100%.
100%. He'd be willing to testify under oath. Do you think that's a good move for him?
Horrible. And if I were here as an attorney, I would grab him by the ankle to prevent him from going into a room and giving sworn testimony, walk into a perjury trap. You never know the questions they're going to ask. It could be a highly technical question. Isn't it a fact that you did, you looked out the window and you saw a lady in a red suit?
The message from the president is that he has nothing to hide by saying that.
But that, Sandra, is not the point. The point is, if you are a lawyer, you do not, there's only one danger the president now faces. There's no Russia collusion. He did not ask Comey to lay off the Russia gate. He asked him to go easy on Flynn. But in that landmine of specifics, it can be asked any kind of question that later is contradicted by something he said earlier, something he says later. Why open yourself to a perjury trap? Because that's his only vulnerability now. If he destroys the tapes, if they exist, that's a vulnerability. If he lies under oath, if he gets caught in a perjury trap. Remember, that's how Bill Clinton went down, lying about whether he had sex with Monica Lewinsky under oath in a deposition in a Paula Jones civil lawsuit. My goodness, how tangential to the issue can you get? You don't let him testify under oath. He's trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. He emerged unscathed from the Comey hearing. He should declare victory.
But hold on.
No, a big takeaway is as you said, he came away unscathed. And even those on the left, including Chris Matthews, are saying, hey, there's no Russian collusion here. Take a listen to what he said.
The assumption of the critics of the president, of his pursuers, you might say, is that somewhere along the line in the last year, the president had something to do with colluding with the Russians. And yet what came apart this morning was that theory, because in two regards. The president said, according to the written testimony of Mr. Comey, go ahead and get anybody's satellite to my operation and nail them. And then he also came across what was fascinating. Comey said that basically Flynn wasn't central to the Russian investigation.
Will the rest of the left admit that? Will they ever admit that and drop this whole Russian collusion thing?
You know, it is what a fascinating question, and I'll tell you why. Because it is now revealed. I mean, we knew that the press slants left. They are more progressive than the general population. They certainly are a world away from Republicans and this president. They tend to be more critical of a Republican president than they are of a Democratic president. I don't think that can be disputed realistically. Mm-hmm. But in this case, in the case of Donald Trump, there is a visceral nature to it, almost a hatred of Trump as a person, everything he represents, the gaudy lifestyle, the accidental presidency, and they seem out to get him. Look at the two big glaring mistakes revealed by Comey's testimony. Number one, CNN, four of their best reporters saying over and over again that Comey is not going to say President Trump is not under investigation. He is not going to tell the Senate that what the president was protesting, I am not under investigation. Turns out Comey says it 3 times in his opening remarks. The other thing is the New York Times, in the most absolutely devastating volcanic expose, revealed in their front page story, again reported by 4 of their best reporters, that there is evidence of collusion, that there was absolute interchanges between Trump aides and Russian intelligence. KGB, the heart of darkness. That's the Times story. Russian intelligence. It was the first time you really said, oh, my God, there is a Russia gate. Oh, my God, they were colluding with the KGB against the interests of the United States. That's an inflammatory story. That's a volcanic story, to use that word a second time. And it turns out to be false. Comey said it is almost all wrong. Right. And we have yet to see the correction from the New York Times.
So now that we've got you all worked up, Geraldo, let me share with you something else that Comey said in that testimony. The president went on to say that if there were some satellite associates of his who did something wrong, it would be good to find that out, but that he hadn't done anything wrong and hoped I would find a way to get it out that we weren't investigating him. That remains a huge question. Why didn't that ever make it out?
What, you mean that satellites may or may not have done something?
Or that he wasn't being investigated.
Yeah, that never leaked.
But the fact, and that's the only thing, as Senator Marco Rubio pointed out, the only thing that didn't leak. You knew Trump's underwear size. You know his eyesight. You know what he got his wife for last Mother's Day. But you didn't hear anyone leaking the fact that he is not under investigation. And to me, what that does, Sandra, is reveal a motive that is very unsavory now. Because we're what are we, 130 days into this presidency? Right. You know, we've got a long way to go. Is this going to characterize Trump's incumbency, that every day there's going to be another story that has to be rebutted and the business of the country can't possibly go forward because he's constantly looking over his shoulder?
Well, and you don't know who's under oath, who in your staff is now under oath and testifying secretly behind closed doors to the special counsel. And, you know, you don't know if you can trust people within your administration. And you pointed out Bill Clinton, which stretched on for 7 years, started as a land investigation.
Whitewater, an Arkansas land deal that turned out to be sex in the Oval Office. But, you know, the thing that has to happen, and, you know, as much as I love the president, he's been very, very unprofessional in some of the things he has done. I mean, clumsy in a way that is virtually inexcusable. For instance, how do you have a president of the United States meet one-on-one in secret with the director of the FBI who is investigating?
But hold on. Well, let's stick to the news this week. Speaking of unprofessional, what about Loretta Lynch? I mean,
I agree.
You read the failing New York Times, the fake news, as you pointed out earlier, nothing about Loretta Lynch.
Nothing there about the former AG Loretta Lynch and putting pressure on to not
Bill
call
Clinton.
this. Yeah, to not call this what it was, an investigation.
With Comey. Yeah, but I can
call it a matter. Is that the word?
That doesn't bother me. That's politics.
Why?
But
That should.
What really bothers me is Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac in Arizona during the time Hillary Clinton was being investigated.
And something
that to me is too much like Trump meeting Comey alone in the White House. But here's my advice.
Pressured by the Attorney General during a campaign to not call it an investigation so it is advantageous to Hillary Clinton. That's obstruction.
Instead of an investigation.
I get that. I understand the nuance and I understand the violation there. But what I'm talking about is an easy reform for this president to make. He's going to have a very combative presidency. We've now established he exists in a hostile world. he has to be far more professional in the way he deals.
Really?
He cannot allow he cannot give ammo when you have all of these bright people on the hard left, amply, richly funded, and their goal and their mission in life is to destroy you. What you cannot do is make their job easy. The job of destruction easy. You've got to be professional. You never, ever meet alone with the FBI director. You bring in Reince Priebus. That's why I want Corey Lewandowski to be back in the White House. You need a practical guy, a scrappy guy, a fighting guy, a guy who would say, hey, boss, where are you going to meet with this guy? It's going to look bad. Just
well, he was on with us earlier.
Have 6 other people in the office with you to make the same point.
But it's up to him to say, and he says, no, you know what? Get out of my office. Get out of my office. I want to meet one-on-one.
And you say, boss, I just want you to know that. Boss, I just want you to know don't do that. Don't do it. Let me stick around. This guy is not your friend. I can be around here. I can tell him what really happened. You know, I think it's easy to do. And otherwise, he came out unscathed. I like a lot of what he's doing. He got Romania to go from 1% of the GDP to 2% in terms of their NATO contribution. Canada went from 1%. You notice that almost unreported last week, from 1% to 2% of their GDP for their defense.
You didn't know what you were going to say when you showed up. We heard you. Thank you for being here. All right, turning now to your headlines this morning. Geraldo Rivera, people, starting with the Fox News.